If you think about the most captivating speakers you know, the one thing they have in common is that they seem to have mastered the art of delivering a point exactly where it lands without resorting to tangents and verbal clutter. And you? Well, you might have found yourself in the unfortunate situation where you start a sentence only to realize midway that you're not sure where you are going with it. So you just end up going everywhere. But here's the thing, speaking with conviction is not a rare talent reserved for the selected few. It is a skill, and just like any skill, it can be trained. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact same principles these great communicators employ to train themselves to stop rambling and start speaking with clarity in 3 simple steps. Now, the most common reason we resort to rambling is a lack of clarity in thought. When your ideas are amorphous and unstructured in your mind, expressing them coherently becomes challenging. And in an attempt to articulate those jumbled thoughts, you take to verbal meandering, filling the space with words as you desperately try to find your point. This not only confuses and potentially bores the listener, but also dilutes your message. It follows that clear communication must start with clear thinking. So the first step is to clarify your thoughts, which is actually easier to achieve than you think if you apply existing well-defined frameworks. But what are frameworks? Frameworks are tools that help you organize your thoughts and structure your message so that it flows logically and clearly. There are many such predefined frameworks. My personal favorite, for example, is the Rule of 3. It is a simple yet powerful framework. You group your message into 3 key points, which makes it more memorable and effective. Imagine a friend got offered a leadership position and asked you, what do you think makes a great leader? If you were to jump to answer the question, you might say something like,
Well, there is actually a lot to unpack here because leadership, it's kind of this broad thing, right? So okay, imagine you're on a ship, like an old-timey ship with sails, and you're the captain, except that, wait, no, let's go with a modern cruise ship. Yeah, that's better. So you're leading all those people, and some of them are passengers, but others are crew members, and maybe there is a storm, or maybe it's just a normal sunny day. But the leader has to steer, but not just steer. You also have to talk to everyone, right? That's super important because if you don't tell people what to do, the ship crashes. And being supportive because what if the crew is sick or tired or maybe the chef burnt the souffle, and you've got to understand all that and be supportive and make decisions to deciding which port to dock at if there is a storm or not. Actually, I'm not sure if cruise ships deal with storms, but often. Well, yeah, anyway, so leadership is all about these things, and I think, you got the gist, right?
now passing that pile through the Rule of 3 framework leaves you with a lean answer that looks more like, I think a good leader excels in 3 areas: communication, empathy, and decisiveness. First, clear communication ensures that everyone understands their role. Second, empathy builds trust and motivates the team. And finally, decisiveness ensures timely and effective decision making. Does it have to be always 3 points? Well, not necessarily, but 3 seems to be the sweet spot where you are able to deliver a clear, easy to understand message without sacrificing depth. 2 points can feel too incomplete or binary, while 4 points or more might make it harder to remember all the items. But this is largely dependent on the setting and the subject. In some instances, it makes more sense to go more or less. There are other frameworks to choose from depending on the situation and your personal preference. Another one of my favorites is BLUF, which stands for bottom line up front, where you start with your main point or conclusion before providing additional context or details. I will link a resource below so you can explore different options and pick what works for you. Once you train your brain to think in this way, it becomes automatic. Now, while frameworks are fantastic for organizing your thoughts in the moment, some topics come up all the time, and it's worth preparing in advance. This is where mental templates come in. Mental templates are essentially preloaded answers or key points you've already thought through for specific topics. For example, one common topic that my friends often ask me about is time management and feeling overwhelmed by too many tasks. And here I already know that when this subject comes up, I mainly want to talk about task prioritization using the Eisenhower matrix and calendar blocking to assign tasks to time slots. Combining frameworks with mental templates makes speaking clearly even easier. The frameworks give your response structure, while the mental template provides the content. You can easily create your own mental templates. First, identify common topics that you're frequently asked about or that come up in your field of expertise. Second, distill key points. Decide on 2 to 3 main points that you want to emphasize for each topic. And third, practice using your templates to make them more automatic. Having established a foundation of organized thoughts through frameworks and mental templates, the second step in refining your communication is to guide your audience smoothly through your message using a technique called signposting. Signposting is the verbal equivalent of road signs on a journey, which basically means guiding your listener through your narrative by using such phrases as, there are 3 points to consider here. The main point I'd like to address is ... and I will elaborate on that in a second, and so on. It serves two important purposes. One is that it sets clear expectations for your listeners, and two, it keeps you accountable for your own structure. If we take the previous example of time management, when a friend asks for advice, I would say what worked for me best is a combination of two things. The first is a method for prioritizing tasks called the Eisenhower matrix, and the second is assigning tasks to specific time slots with calendar blocking. Let me elaborate on each. And then I would proceed to explain how you categorize tasks into one of 4 quadrants depending on importance and urgency, starting with the most important and most urgent task, and so on. The third step is building your linguistic precision. Even with a clear structure and signposting, imprecise language can still lead to rambling. Let me elaborate on why this has a significant importance. When your words are vague or repetitive, your message loses impact, and you risk meandering in an attempt to clarify what you meant. If you think of the most skilled communicators, they choose their words carefully, leveraging language to add weight to their arguments or wit to their insights. And the reason why this works powerfully is what is known as schema disruption. Schemas are mental shortcuts that we use to process familiar information like common words and phrases quickly and passively. When someone uses nuanced or unexpected language, it disrupts our existing schema and forces your brain to actively re-engage. It breaks predictability, and that little encounter of novelty gives you that dopamine hit. The reason why common words fail to deliver, on the other hand, is a lack of cognitive anchors. Common or vague language lacks specificity, failing to anchor your thoughts to clear ideas. Without these anchors, your mind struggles to stay on track, leading to rambling. So, how can you build your linguistic precision? The easiest way is by learning from the best and consuming media in various formats, be it books, videos, podcasts, where stellar communicators are involved. One of my personal favorites is Rory Sutherland. He is the man behind one of the world's most renowned advertising agencies, known for his sharp wit, compelling communication style that blends wit, insight, and a deep understanding of human behavior. Sutherland's approach is characterized by his ability to distill complex ideas into accessible and engaging narratives, often using humor and unconventional analogies. Do check him out if you haven't already. Another way is by crafting your own. Use your imagination and try to blend metaphors into your thoughts to convey them in less conventional and more thought-provoking ways. I personally do tend to write down expressions or phrases that capture unique ideas vividly or just convey nuance. and make a habit of incorporating them into my daily mundane conversations. Expressing your thoughts as richly as they appear in your mind is not inherently easy, and there are a number of reasons why that is and how to overcome it. If you are interested, I made a video about this that you can check out right here.